You're listening to the Renegade Blitz, the best podcast for Steelers fans by Steelers fans. Follow us on Twitter at Renegade Blitz, at RBlitzPod, and at Blitz Videos. Read articles on RenegadeBlitz.com, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app.
And welcome back to the Renegade Blitz podcast. I'm Ty Polk with Chris Ward and Brandon Walker. It's been a while. We're glad to be back with you. And we got a lot to talk about because, of course, it was the first week of training camp. And finally, guys, football is almost back. You can feel it in the air. They're back in Latrobe, and it feels good.
Yes, it is. Like, the quarterback controversy, competition. What do you call it? Competition or controversy? Like,
it depends on how you look.
Honestly, I think it's like, hold up. Honestly, I think it's, I always think that it's like we know who the people's choice is. But who do you guys think is the best choice for the job week 1 against Cincinnati?
Chris, I'll let you go first for that one.
Oh, probably just because he's a veteran. Mitch Trubisky, just he's been there. He has the most experience. It's still really early in training camp. You've seen a lot of reports about Kenny Pickett struggling and everything, but he's with the third team offensive line, and all the reports that I read that the third team offensive line has really struggled blocking against the backups on defense, and it's tough to block when you don't have any pads on and everything, and it's just kind of natural for a rookie to struggle early on. It's happened before, so I'm not really too concerned about that just yet. And I know Mason Rudolph has supposedly surprised a lot of people. He's been doing really well, but I mean, I don't know if that's really should be too much of a surprise because he's been with the Steelers the longest.
I mean, it's a quarterback kerfuffle, I like to call it right now with the Steelers. And again, I'm going to also put it to you with Chris. You put it well. Kenny Pickett's not with the top unit for the Steelers. And also, let's remember, this is the number 1 highest paid defense in the NFL. I wanted to be out there causing havoc out there and just getting interceptions off of your quarterbacks. I don't care who it was. It could be a prime Ben Roethlisberger, or it can be whatever was dragged out last year, or it could be a Kenny Pickett, a Mason Rudolph, anyone. I want the defense out there making plays in training camp because that's, the bell cow of the season for the Steelers next year. We all know that the Steelers defense has to come up huge, a lot like how it did in that 2019 season. Anything that comes out of the offense, which is hopefully, an NFL offense, is just a bonus.
And defenses are usually ahead of offenses anyway in the beginning of training camp, just because, especially, considering the Steelers, how many new starters they have on offense, and, Deontay Johnson's doing his hold in. We'll get to that. But so there's a lot of different moving parts on the offensive side. So, and like you mentioned, Ty, like the defense is expected to be one of the best in the league.
Are you really sure about that? Because, they got ran on a lot last year.
Yeah, they got fixed there.
But hold up. Let me get my point across before you get me as a Steeler hater. I would think that they underachieved a little bit last year due to injury and due to underperforming first-round draft picks. But hold up. I'm going to be nice this year. It's a new year. Bush, I like you as a guy. Your mother is a great woman. I will leave it at that. But I'm going to say, look, we're going to have. We have to see. It's the highest paid. Doesn't mean it's the best.
Yeah, but the expectations and everything with it.
Expectations, yes. But you got to show me. And what they showed me last season was it was getting dog walked all over the field at times, a lot. So they do have. That's what I'm saying. There's still a weird team. Like, it's still weird defense. I mean, not the defense ain't weird, but it's like a weird. We'll see. We got to get the consistency up high up here, and we'll see it during training. We can't do it when the pads ain't on. Pads ain't on yet.
Yeah, and it's still early. They have a couple injuries right now. Like Minka Tomlin said, he fell off his bike. It's it's not serious, but he injured his wrist, so he's not participating right now. And Tyson Alualu's. I don't know if you guys are. I don't know if I'm overly concerned, but like he does have a knee issue right now, and he's on the PUP list. He's 35 years old, but none of it's considered to be really serious. And then Larry Ogunjobi's he's been limited so far. Just they're trying to get to know him, and he's coming off foot surgery.
I think a lot of the issues, at least with the run defense, is the middle of the defense last year, and it's so critical in a 3-4 that defensive line, especially in run coverage, is stout. And of course, you hope that this defensive line is healthy, because again, that's the difference for this team. I think that was a lot of the issues that caused it between Devin Bush, Joe Schobert, and Robert Spillane, who a lot of people are saying Spillane is looking like the starter at the other middle linebacker position alongside Miles Jack. And I'm just like, maybe they just need a guy that can run in there and be a banger, and Miles Jack can go be the patrolling middle linebacker that is so important in any defense, not just a 3-4. So there's a lot to think.
I never. Sorry, not to interject on your point, not to interrupt you. That would be a good look. But you still, in a passing NFL, you still need. I don't know how fast he is. I don't know what he dialed in the 40. I'm talking about Spillane. But it just looks like he looks the part of a middle linebacker. Like a middle linebacker that could, what you said, Ty, was just get those tackles, run support, everything like that. And then Miles Jack can just be Miles Jack. Cover, tackle, rush the passer when he needs to, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like, he just need, I don't know. What about that, what's the linebacker? Buddy Johnson. What about Buddy Johnson? How about him?
They only mentioned the three linebackers so far, though. Spillane with Bush and Miles Jack so far. But supposedly Miles Jack has looked good so far in training camp from everything that I've read so far. I mean, hopefully he could bring Bush along. I know you're tough on him, Brandon, but obviously this is a critical year for Devin Bush, and they're going to need him. To have that their run defense last year ranked last in the league.
Yeah, Johnson seems like a project middle linebacker, and that's really been the big headlines again, the big three for the middle linebackers for the Steelers. But also another person who got a little bit of headlines was Mark Robinson for the linebackers, and it's a critical spot for the Steelers. It's that sub-in outside linebacker when T.J. Watt or Alex Highsmith need a little bit of a breather out there. And I think that's also going to be another position of importance for the Steelers, those outside linebackers, because I don't think this team can afford to have a season in which T.J. Watt is not playing out there every game. They managed to get by last year, but I think you want to have him out there playing all 17.
Yeah, definitely. And they don't really have, the greatest depth behind T.J. Watt and Highsmith, and they're going to need Highsmith to really step up. He probably, for them, he probably needs like a 10 to 12 sack year, this coming up season. But I don't know. They have like Derek Tuska, who came on at the end of last year. I think he had like 2 sacks, maybe, or a couple sacks. I know he had a sack against the Titans, but and then Gerald Avery too is another guy that they could put in there as a number 3 outside linebacker or whatever. But that's definitely an area that they need some depth.
You're definitely right. I always suggested that too. I said this before. I suggested one name, like if you get him in the second or third round, Arnold Abikite. That was the guy I suggested. I'm not trying to plug. From I'm not gonna try to like do all that, but y'all know y'all probably know where I'm going with it. But yeah, that was the guy I suggested in like his second and third round because he was the first round talent that I thought that was slit. But yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, why couldn't they get another outside linebacker that could get a couple sacks a year, get some pass rush just in case T.J. Watt couldn't play. Because it's a totally different defense when T.J. Watt is not in the lineup. It was probably the worst defense in the league when he was not on the field.
There's a lot to bring out of that. There's a lot of questions that the Steelers probably still can answer in this training camp period in terms of signing more people, and we'll go over a little bit more of that. One thing I want to talk about is going back to the offense is the running back situation. The Steelers have signed Jeremy McNichols, formerly of the Titans, and are currently working out Jordan Howard of the Eagles. Najee Harris is on record as saying he wants 500 touches this year, and I love his enthusiasm. He gets an A+++ for enthusiasm. You're not getting that, Najee. I'm sorry. That's way too much for anyone, especially in any league. That's like a broken slider in a PS2 Madden getting 500 touches out of there. But anyway, I'm really excited about this because the Steelers are finally, at the very least, putting more of a challenge to saying who's going to step up as that RB2 situation that has been so critical for the Steelers in their history when you really think about it. Jerome Bettis in his final years was an RB2. Of course, you also got Deuce Staley, even though that situation didn't work out. But hey, you got a Super Bowl ring out of it. It's important to have that second running back, especially these days, even with the decrease in importance for a running back in this league.
Okay.
And they signed Jeremy McNichols too.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
You mentioned that. Okay. Yeah. He'll serve a good competition with Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland, and that's a really critical, like you mentioned, because Najee Harris led the league last year in touches with 381, and he had like an 85% snap share. So, Tomlin has a history of running the wheels off running backs too. He's done it before, so I think they definitely have to be cautious of getting Najee Harris his proper touches, but also making sure that he doesn't retire by the age of like 28 or something.
The Steelers have a history of running the wheels off their running backs. Remember Barry Foster?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do. But hold up, I would suggest a trade.
Who you got then?
One-time Pro Bowler, sometime Pro Bowler. You could probably get him for a 4th round pick right now. How about Saquon Barkley?
That's not happening.
Yeah, that's not. I can't see
that. How's that not happening? Because
the Giants, unless Saquon comes back from his injuries and really falls off a cliff, Saquon is not going for anything. That's a running back that still could possibly do something. As much as I would love that to happen,
last 2 years, like this ain't wide receiver.
Someone's gonna have to step up and take it away from Saquon Barkley. As much as I want that to happen, and believe me, it would be if the Giants offer it, you take whatever's on that table and you hang up the phone and call Central NFL, whatever it is. I only think of that way for the NHL, and tell them, hey, this trade got accepted. Give them to us right now.
You can get Saquon for a 4th round pick right now.
If someone picks up Saquon Barkley for a 4th round pick, I will personally go to McKees Rocks and say, Brandon, I am sorry, but that is not happening.
What? No, trust me. There's sources in the league saying like you could get him for a 4th round, like a 3rd. How about a 3? A 3.
Yeah,
you can have him and Najee as a 1-2 punch.
I don't think
And
Saquon
the
would accept
Steelers
that.
need that.
Well, he
They
won't
need.
do that. Saquon
I'm not trying to.
He won't-
I'm sorry.
he
I
won't want
apologize.
to be a RB2 to Najee Harris.
Is he? What does he produce to produce that say he's a top tier running back right now?
He's been
You know what I'm
injured.
saying?
I know he's. Look, I understand where you're getting from.
great.
He's
I
injured.
love him.
You could
And
buy low for him right now, but I just don't think that the Giants would do that. Dable's gotta at least see what this guy can do. Like if you're telling me the Hall was a 4th round pick and it's the trade deadline and the running back situation for the Steelers is really bad outside of Najee, by all means go for it. But
it's
right now,
already pretty bad. What the hell are you talking about, bruh?
you got it.
Like, bruh,
It's the
like,
Giants
now?
that I believe in this situation that would say no because they at least want to see him right now. They would have. I think it would be a massive overpay from the Steelers with that. I just don't see that. A third rounder, a 4th rounder right now for Saquon Barkley. Look, Brandon, I understand you're covering Penn State right now, but that's just way too much right now at this situation. I just don't think it would happen.
Yeah, I'll be like shocked if that.
All right, okay, like a 6th round and 6th round next year, and 4 for a conditional pick in 2024.
I gotta cut you off right there. That's not happening. But anyway, I mean,
let's move on. But yeah, they do need a back. But the point I'm trying to say is they would need a back of his skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who the back is, but they gotta snoop around for a running back. Chris Carson retired and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to. You need a second running back that could do what Saquon thinks. You know what I mean? That's what I was just.
What do you think about Howard then if they sign him?
Howard from the Jalen Howard from the Jordan Howard from the that got cut from the Eagles, right? Correct.
Yeah. They work.
That would be a good back. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a good addition.
Yeah, because I don't trust Snell or McFarland. You know what I've seen from them so far. Really, to be honest.
If Snell wants to be a special teams demon, then by all means he can stay on this team for as long as he wants. I don't know if I want him as a running. I don't know if I want him as a running back right now.
You don't need it. That's what I'm saying. You can keep 4 running backs as long as you have one on special teams. Special teams is 1/3 of the game, and that is
very important.
Yes.
So let's now move on to the wide receiver room, and guys, I'm pretty sure you're seeing this right now. I'm so glad this team has George Pickens right now. He's currently right now my the training camp MVP, and I mean that in honestly the nicest way possible. With that, we'll see what he does in the game when games start coming in there. But so far, so good. He's acrobatic. He's fast. He's making moves. He's not giving up on the ball. It's everything that the Steelers need for a wide receiver right now. And they're actually saying the Steelers wide receiver room might be the fastest it's ever been. And wow, that's high praise whenever you think of the time that the Steelers had 1, Antonio Brown, 2, Mike Wallace, and 3, Emmanuel Sanders at the same time.
You know what? I like Pickens. I think that Pickens could potentially. I'm sorry to do like numbers, but I think he could change the culture of the wide receiver room. Because you know what I've been saying about the Steelers wide receivers. And Claypool, you on deck. You on deck.
It's funny that you say Claypool because he's been the one given the highest praise out of Pickens right now.
Yeah, he said he's going to be the best receiver this year. And if he didn't get injured, his ACL, prior to last year, he would have been a first round pick. He ended up being the 11th receiver selected. in the draft. So I mean, the Steelers, it's still early, but it seems like they, it potentially really could have gotten a steal here with George Pickens. I mean, all the videos that have been posted on Twitter and everything. I mean, he looks like the truth really. And when we had Chris Carter on, when he saw him during OTAs and everything, he said he was the real deal. And that's what appears to be the case so far.
Yeah,
he's a certified dog. You've seen those meetings in which people have the X-rays and all the dogs inside him. He has that dog in him, and I'm really excited about this. I don't think I've ever been on this high receiver ever, at least as a rookie. Maybe you caught us whenever Claypool was a big thing, but man, I've never been this high on a wide receiver. It's been a long time.
I saw on Twitter that Pickens, he signed a pair of black Air Forces. Like what is the meme that you were talking about?
Black Air Force energy.
Yeah, and I think he put like NBA Youngboy on it or something like that. It was pretty fun. I saw on Twitter.
He'll never be broke again if he pulls off that stuff in the league. He's gonna be a fan favorite. Everyone's hyping up that guy, which is insane.
I'm like, look, but he's wearing that dreaded number 14. But that's beyond the point. Like, I think that he brings that dog in that wide receiver room that's been missing for a long time. And with the new wide receiver coach, with him, I think the wide receiver coach, because the way when I say the Steelers this team is weird, it's mainly the source of the weirdness is the wide receivers. Like, these days, the wide receivers and the quarterback basically run the team. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like quarterbacks, wide receivers, and everything else, and then because they're the glamour positions. So if they have the culture, they run the culture. So if Pickens is there, and if Pickett or whoever, I ain't the biggest fan of Pickett, but whoever is the quarterback gets it right, the Steelers culture will change back to that, what I know, what I grew up with, what I know of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And you have Calvin Austin III too, is
yes,
pretty good. He had a long touchdown off the screen at training camp.
He's a 95 speed in Madden as a rookie. Yeah, he's already in the top 10, which is insane.
Yeah. Okay, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, since you are a part of the Steelers now, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
All right. Is he a special team? I'm talking about Austin. Is he a returner type person?
I think he's working with. They have like several guys that have been working on returns. They have
Gunnar Olszewski.
Yeah, the guy. He was an All-Pro with the Patriots in 2020. So, he's an option. I think Anthony Miller's been catching punts too. I've seen. So they have a couple guys back there that could be a return option guys.
Okay, I just didn't even know who was.
Speaking of the receivers,
but is he one of them though?
Yeah, he's one of. He's with them.
Okay, is he one of? He has a possibility because he's like 5'7", like that. Yeah, he's like almost the perfect guy to do kickoffs and stuff.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about Deontay Johnson's hold-in, which was a big topic this week?
Well, first, let's actually get to that about news and notes around the league. And as we come on to this podcast, Deebo Samuel has an extension with the 49ers. So that's a big part of largely the future with how they're going to try to see if they can pay Deontay Johnson. So for Deebo Samuel, it's going to be a 3-year, $71.55 million extension, including 58.1 of it guaranteed. So I famously got roasted by Chris Carter whenever he came back on the podcast the last time. And I'm actually going to cut that up and make sure that people hear that because I'm not afraid to be called out for my BS. And as it's gone on, my BS has become stinkier and stinkier. So, so we'll put it to you like this. It's always a favorite thing, and this is the thing in sports media in which you try to localize a national story. Guys, do you really think that Deontay Johnson is worthy of that money right now at this second?
I think we'll eventually get it, just because I read here that 11 receivers have signed deals worth $20 million or more per year just this offseason. So I mean, the receiver market has exploded and everything, and his numbers do match up with some of these receivers on there. Some of the 2019 guys, a lot of them getting deals like McLaren, Terry McLaren, DK Metcalf, and Deebo Samuel. I mean, you could argue if he's just as good or is better or whatever, but I would be surprised if the Steelers would give him that much though. That's just my thinking, that they'll give him a receiver, because I mean, look at what they got with Pickens and Austin so far. I mean, you don't know how they're going to do yet. I mean, it's still training camp and everything, but the Steelers have a history of drafting receivers, exceptionally well.
And let's remember, Deontay actually has less drops than Deebo Samuel.
Yeah. Right? Hold on. We got to learn the Steelers have exceptionally drafted wide receivers. However, we'll get to this dude later, because I'm not going to do that. You had a Hall of Fame quarterback. A Hall of Fame quarterback makes a lot of wide receivers look good. A lot of them. But I do say this. Well, I will say this. I think Deontay Johnson is worth. I don't know if he's worth $24 million. I think he's more a $20 million guy, but that's the going rate.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I don't like, if you're not going to pay Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, that type of money. Why would you do Deontay Johnson?
So you don't think he's in the same neighborhood as these are the 11 receivers that received $20 million or more per year this time? Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, and Mike Williams.
Let me tell you this, Chris.
Give me those last six again.
Give me those numbers, and I'll say yes or no.
The numbers?
Those last six again.
Give me the numbers, and I'll say yes or no.
Okay, all right. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the last...
give me the names.
Okay, you mean text it to you?
No.
Name them off right now.
I'm naming them. All right, I'm doing it again. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams.
No.
Okay, Cooper Kupp.
No.
AJ Brown.
No.
Stephon Diggs.
No.
Deebo Samuel.
No.
DK Metcalf.
No.
Terry McLaurin.
Hell no.
DJ Moore.
Yes.
All right, Chris Godwin.
No.
Mike Williams.
No.
All right, so only one.
That's 1 for 10. 1 and 10.
DJ Moore has had to deal with some dignified quarterbacks like the corpse of Cam Newton, Sam Darnold. What else? Kyle Allen. The old quarterback from West Virginia. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Will Grier.
Yeah, Will Grier. What else? They also had to deal with a guy from the XFL, PJ Walker.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So DJ Moore, they're hoping that they get him a quarterback sometime in the future soon, so he can at least make some headway with that money. But yeah, there's a lot you could say about that. I'd argue. I'd put a very, 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 very strong argument against it for maybe McLaurin.
No.
Because let's think of the quarterback.
Hold. I'm not gonna let you do that. Ty.
You're the Washington football team fan.
No. Yep, I'm not. Okay, I disowned this, but I still. You've been dealing
McLaurin had the same wide receivers coach as Deontay Johnson did for the past two seasons. That's Ike Hilliard.
Look at the quarterback position. You had freaking
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He only played one.
Taylor Heineke.
Yes, come on, man. Like, look, he's the best player on that team right now.
Fair. I mean, I think Chase Young is the best.
Huh?
I think Chase Young is the best offensively. Yeah, I won't doubt that.
He's a little overrated. But I'm not. Don't
Didn't he have a knee injury? Give him a break.
No. Don't do it, Ty, because
I know you're the Washington football team fanatic out of the group. Commanders, excuse me. But
look,
I'm trying to say he can at least put an argument with Terry McLaurin. Maybe he's not better than McLaurin. I'll walk that back slightly. Maybe but I think he can put up a similar impact to Terry McLaurin, especially being that both have had to deal with shells at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
shells in different ways.
Probably the closest one, other than DJ Moore, because I mean, the first 6 or 7 or whatever, there's no chance I think of him being even comparable to those guys.
But yeah,
maybe Metcalf.
I'm not saying he's not a great. He's a good receiver. I said last year, more than one occasion, that he could be one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league. Gotta get his stuff together.
Yeah. That's
what I'm saying.
Depending on how long the hold in lasts, do you think it will affect the chemistry with Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett? Depending on how long it is, I don't know how. He's still getting reps with them, but just not during the team period.
No, because
it's a new quarterback.
He's probably practiced with them on the side.
Yeah, he's doing.
It's not in camp because, look, people get hurt in camp all the time. You can't. It's you're revving back up and things happen. So, do you think he's going to get paid? Do you think he's going to get?
I think with another team, though, I think another team would give him, $20 million or whatever. I don't think the Steelers will. And was Christian Kirk making $18 million for a year? So I mean, he's gonna make it.
He blew up the whole doggone. That was crazy, but
he got his money because he had to play second. He had to get the second run behind DeAndre Hopkins. But even then, the Cardinals' wide receiver room, when you really think about it, kind of off. But that's another story. Kind of off whenever you go outside. When you go outside Hopkins, and when you think about Kirk's career, they had Michael Crabtree for a little bit. Larry Fitzgerald is basically retired. So
no, he has been retired. He didn't play last year, did he?
He hasn't. No, he did not play officially. He hasn't put in retirement papers.
He hasn't said he's retired, but he's retired. If you didn't play last year and you ain't playing this year, you're retired.
Yeah.
What? Why are we just saying he hasn't officially retired, bruh? If you ain't played, you retired.
It's like David DeCastro. He hasn't officially retired yet.
But come on, bro. You are classified. If ain't nobody pick you up, then what the hell? Bruh,
let's move on to players that have officially retired, and of course, Ben Roethlisberger. Man, does that man know how to get himself back into the media at any means necessary. He had a long article, a great article by Ron Cook of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and 93.7 The Fan. But of course, there's always something that you could pick out of his words. At one point, he talked about the Steelers' culture over his last few years, and to paraphrase, he said that it was me first opposed to team first. And he had to walk those comments back, of course, because Cam Hayward took offense to that because he's the ultimate team first and really team representative of the Steelers since he's retired. And of course, also AB got a few words out of that as well, as he's always got to keep himself in the media. It's really those two are the kings of somehow, some way keeping themselves relevant whenever you don't want them to. And I'm also looking at an article right right now that says he's going to try to sneak up to Latrobe for a practice. And I'm just like, Ben, no.
Sit your ass down.
Please
bro.
don't.
Like,
Please don't. Just you had the greatest. You had the greatest walk-off for a quarterback that could possibly happen, sans winning the Super Bowl in your final game. You literally had to. You won. You won. No. Stay away from a year or two. Come back whenever they put you in the Hall of Honor. We'll also talk about that later. But other than that, Ben, it's just not worth it. And he also said he felt he could still play. And I'm just, oh my goodness. But there's one thing that I want to talk about. He also, with that me first, team first thing, he had to also put out a thing in which, because a lot of people put that as a shot for Juju Smith-Schuster, who could not be further from the truth when it comes down to it with TikTok. That's one thing. When he's on that field, he's balls to the wall. And Ben did acknowledge that rightfully, because at first I was just going, man, this guy. Still in saying that, but at least he had the presence of mind to back those, to rephrase those comments as he's commonly doing. It's just proof that there's a reason why you don't have a radio show anymore, Ben. But that's another thing. Guys, let's talk about this, because I'm just going to talk about this till I'm blue in the face, and I'm through with it already.
Brandon, you want to go first since that's your favorite player?
My favorite player.
It is your favorite player. More than Devin Bush.
Okay. Look, I don't want to disparage Ben of his greatness, but he's a jerk. We all know that. However, but look, I'm saying Ben has always been a team player. I will give him that. And he is correct on the me first culture. You got AB, Juju, had Le'Veon. I think that he's referring to that time frame.
I think that's what he was trying to say. And
that made sense whenever he did the walk back of those comments. But
I thought but like I'm saying, a couple of rotten apples will screw up
the bushel. Yeah.
Ruin the bush.
Yeah, I got it.
That happened, and then AB poisoned Juju, and then Juju kind of poisoned Claypool, and we'll talk about that later. And I want to propose an opportunity for the Steelers right now. Would you trade Claypool right now? You could get you might get a third from him, a 3.
When it comes to the Steelers wide receiver room, I will always listen to offers because I believe they're that good. They also have guys in the pipeline like Anthony Miller that could also potentially do something in the future. Really, he's battling for that Eli Rogers spot on the team, and there's also another guy as well on there that could do something. There's all sorts of guys when you think about it for the Steelers. So
get into Ben. I just want to touch on Ben real quick. It was kind of funny that just days before training camp was open, like he said after he retired that he was gonna ride off to the sunset, and you weren't gonna hear from him for a while, and then like training camp's about to start, he makes this big interview with Ron Cook, and he just like says all these like things that are kind of like controversial. He mentioned how Colbert didn't want him back, and the whole thing with I could still play today, but you can believe whatever he wants, but we clearly saw last year that his best days were behind him. And
stop the cap, Ben.
Yeah, but the whole thing with the me first thing, I think he did walk back his comments, but he was way too broad in it because T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward are not me first guys.
Yeah,
it's understandable why Hayward took offense to it.
I think he was talking about the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he probably
he's talking about that. He has to be talking about AB that
it's quite obvious too.
Whatever happened in 2017-18 that ruined a prime opportunity to take to win the Super Bowl. And that me first mentality of them, you got Mike. Remember Mike Mitchell? He's a piece of work too. And if we could go back to urinating tree, I would talk Mike Mitchell, and other people.
Ben does have a point, but at the same time, there's some irony involved with it too, because Ben in his early
he had the opportunity to be the guy to stop this.
Yes, hold up. Pittsburgh Steelers Nation agrees with me, saying Ben needs to sit his ass down and enjoy retirement. And somebody
you gave him an extra word. I put this up earlier. They didn't say that word, but they did agree with a general statement.
Yeah, he needs to sit down.
Shout out to Pittsburgh Steeler Nation. There are Facebook things so you can watch it on there. You can actually comment on there. I don't know why StreamYard doesn't allow you on Twitter, because we see you.
But then again, Patricia had said Ben is missing the limelight. But like, how do you think he was like talking about college football too, saying like
not happy
like the amateurism, like he didn't get paid. It should be that something like that about NIL.
Knowing Ron, he probably just let him. He let him run. Huh? He let him run. That was it. I mean, Ron's a great writer. So again, he just let him run. That was Ben Roethlisberger's chance to sound off on everything. And I believe he also mentioned on the Fan, like the day that the article was out, he had something that he didn't include into the article that I can't remember off the life of me right now. But I'm pretty sure he had a lot of other nuggets that he probably left off there to try to capture a general vibe of the entire situation with Ben. And again, when I talk about it, it's just that I mean he just threw the first pitch at the Pittsburgh Pirates Yinzer Palooza.
Yeah. I
really wish I would have got the chance to compete in that pierogi eating contest, but that's another thing. But I would have murdered it. But there's a lot of things when it comes down to it with Ben. I'm just like, man, can't you just recognize that you have won? Can't you recognize it and just take the W and walk away? I understand he had some gripes with Kevin Colbert and I think he had a very veiled shot at Mike Tomlin for a lot of the reasons why the Steelers could not even make it back to the Super Bowl after 2011. But there's just a lot of things that when it comes down to it, I'm just, Ben, you're always going to be a part of this franchise, and everybody will always want to know what's your take on it. It's a lot similar to Terry Bradshaw, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's doing this. He gets the opportunity to be the grumpy old man.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be the grumpy old man.
He didn't get to do that.
When
Terry Bradshaw retired, he went to Fox. He went everywhere.
But you could see his voice in
25 years for him to like come back to Pittsburgh.
True. He had opportunities to talk about the Steelers over time in Fox, and that was enough for him. But once it became like, all right, there's this guy that's coming up, then he was able to talk it. So there's a difference. There's a difference with Ben. Ben didn't even let them actually find out, whoa, they actually got a guy in there now. He just went.
Yeah, I think that was actually a topic on 93.7 The Fan about is Ben Roethlisberger becoming the new Terry Bradshaw.
No, it's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges because, like I said, like
Terry let it breathe.
They like what? I think he's a jerk, but a lot of people love him. They will always love him. Like everybody, like in the 80s, after they won 4 Super Bowls, Terry Bradshaw was like, no, I'm good. I ain't even come back to the city. Ben actually came back through the first pitch. I don't know where he lives now.
Georgia.
I think
he lives in Georgia where
he has like 2 houses or maybe more. I don't know.
Does he have a house around here?
Yeah, I think his main house is still.
Okay. He has a main house around here, so he's going to raise his kids here.
Yeah.
Terry Bradshaw went to Louisiana, freaking went to Fox, went up the road. He did not even mess with Pittsburgh until like 2001, I believe, because he went back when.
Well,
he did not come back until.
He's cool with Ben. They did an interview on Fox, and supposedly they have a better relationship now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like what I'm saying is this.
And he's not big on goals either. He didn't go.
Ben, as much of a. Never mind.
Just let it go. But you are right.
But
He is around town. I do remember.
Ben has a better relationship with the city of Pittsburgh and is more love than Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, I agree, and you are right about that with Ben in Pittsburgh, because he did mention that his son was playing in a golf event up at, I believe, somewhere in the south parts of the metropolitan area. I think it was Nemacolin or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, so he will be around in Pittsburgh, and, of course, his kids want to go to a game, so he won't be able to say no to them. And I'm like, good, excellent. Come there and watch a game, whatever. But it's just like, man, you got to let it breathe.
What do you think he would do if Mason Rudolph's the quarterback and Ben's in the stands? You think he'd just like... Because
all I know is this.
Never were close.
There's going to be 15 million close-ups on Ben Roethlisberger every time Mason Rudolph does anything, whether it's put the ball in the end zone or throw a pick right into the hands of Marlon Humphreys or something like that.
I don't think he's going to be going to too many games, but.
So you want to talk on the Hall of Honor and then
we're going to talk about the Hall of Honor and wrap it up. And of course, they just named everyone that's going to be a part of the Steelers Hall of Honor in 2022. I think it's the first one. It's the first one in like a few years. No, last year they did one. I was there in the stadium. I'm an idiot. But Heath Miller, Myron Cope are the two names that everyone remembers off the top of everything. But of course, there's also Sam Davis, who was a long shot sleeper that was discovered by Bill Nunn, and Ray Matthews from the 1950s of the Steelers.
Okay, I know Sam. You said Sam. I know this third one you named. He played on. He's an offensive lineman on the 70s team.
Yeah, the 70s
I know
team.
that. I just know that.
Yeah.
You said Heath Miller deserves it. He's the best tight end in Steelers history right now. I think another guy's going to surpass him in the next few years. I'm not trying to. And then Myron Cope, legendary. I'm surprised he hasn't done it. Hasn't been in there like sooner.
That's
like he's the voice and the culture of the Steelers. Yeah. He is the ultimate Yinzer.
Yeah, you're definitely well deserved. Creator of the Terrible Towel. Legendary broadcaster and writer too. He's a great writer too. So it was good. He wrote. Yeah. Post-Gazette and Sports Illustrated, I think, somewhere else.
Really? Yeah. I ain't know that.
Yeah.
So you give me news. But yeah, but he's a legend in the whole, like, he should have been in the first, I don't know how long they had the Steelers.
Since 2017. 2017. So
he should have been in the first class.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't want to discount Ray Matthews right here because it's kind of like an afterthought. I do want to say this: he is 11th in team history in terms of reception yards, 230 receptions, 3,919 yards. He played halfback and right end, and it's not a defensive position. It's just the way that football was back then. It would be a flanker, wide receiver position for him. He went to Clemson, attended McKeesport High School, and made 2 Pro Bowl selections in 1952 and 1955.
Right.
So this is a local candidate, but also a guy that contributed in the very early stages of the Steelers' history. Of course, was it successful? Not by and large until the late 60s going into the 70s in terms of building.
The Steelers they weren't that good until the 70s.
Yeah.
Like they were like the Lions and the Browns from whatever they did until the 70s.
The Lions and Browns today. Of course, the Lions and Browns were champions in the NFL at that time. But that's another.
But those are historical reference. Yeah, but my grandpa knows. He will acknowledge that they were they were not that good until the 70s. He will vouch for that and confirm it. But yeah, I think the Immaculate Reception might be the first playoff win that they ever had.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you got to research that.
It was their first one.
Wow, I didn't even know that all the way. Yeah. I put that out there, and I was like, that was their first ever playoff win in history, in their team history, Chris.
Yeah. That was their second playoff game, I believe.
Well, because and I didn't even know
how bad they were early on in the the history of the franchise.
I was saying,
really up until that point. Up until that point, the last time they made the playoffs was 1947, a 21-0 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Damn. So that was their
That was their second ever playoff appearance.
Wow. So that was their first win, the Immaculate Reception game. Wow.
And
I didn't know that was
that would have been their first playoff win in 25 years. First playoff game in 25 years.
Yeah, I didn't know that until just now. I thought it. I was like, I don't want to just say that because Chris is the historian. I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was a probability, but thank you for telling me that that was the first playoff win in team history. Wow. This is news to me.
So do you think Harrison will get in next year? Because I thought he might have gone in this year, but Heath Miller definitely makes sense. Like you mentioned, Brandon, the greatest tight end.
Yes. He has to be in this year. He should be in the Hall of Fame in general. But he should be. But I don't think that he's gonna. He broke out too late.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Hall of Fame, you think, or
I'm talking about Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's a lot for the Hall of Honor.
Yeah.
No, well, the Hall of Honor, yes, but James Harrison, if he broke out basically at the time like when the Steelers' first Super Bowl win. And he carried that momentum through whenever his prime was. That's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah, and TJ Watt
broke out at 20. He broke out at 30. 28, 29, 30.
Yeah, and TJ Watt's going to break his sack record this year. He's at, I think TJ Watt's at 72 right now, and Harrison had 80 and a half, I believe. So, he's definitely going to get this. That's crazy, too, because this is going to be TJ Watt's, sixth year? Oh, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
The Watt boys built different. And yeah, definitely, especially if Watt breaks that record next year, he'll definitely be in there because they're not going to make sure that he's forgotten any bit of the Steelers' history. Not that he would for arguably the greatest defensive play in Super Bowl history.
Oh no, he's in there. He's in there. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I thought it would have been this year, but Heath Miller definitely makes sense, and they got to honor some of the past guys too.
Yeah, I mean he should be in there. Well, if it's not next year, he's gonna be in there. Like,
all right, guys. So, our first podcast in a while. So, what do you say that we try to do this one more time before I have to go on vacation and before our first Steelers preseason game? That's Saturday, August 13th at 7 p.m. against Seattle.
Yeah, when are you leaving for vacation?
I am officially leaving that Sunday.
So so we could definitely do one this week. Training.
Oh, actually, I'll be coming back. That Sunday, but I'll be leaving this upcoming Saturday. So, of course, we want to make sure that we get out one more podcast before we leave, and I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll give you the keys to the kingdom if you want to run a stream there. But until then, I'm Ty Polk. That's Chris Ward, and that's Brandon Walker. You have been listening and watching the Renegade Blitz.
Thank you for listening to the Renegade Blitz podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Renegade Blitz, at @RBlitzPod, and @BlitzVideos. Read articles on RenegadeBlitz.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. The Renegade Blitz podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts.